Who doesn't love a great outing to the water park with family and friends in this hot and steamy summer season? Water parks are so fun with adventurous and fun-filled slides and rides to enjoy with near and dear ones. We all love riding the water slides. It is indeed the best way to beat the heat on a hot summer day. But unfortunately, these water slides can be extremely dangerous in opposition to the thrill they provide. Notably, many cases have been registered against these world-popular water slides for being responsible for people's miseries. Many of them have been banned because of their hazardous construction. Here are 10 of the most insane water slides that got banned due to the danger that they posed to the riders. Number 10. Steamer Slide. The steamer, which the Ottawa Sun describes as something akin to a toilet bowl, is one of the most notorious rides at the Calypso Water Park, though it isn't the only one there that has been linked to serious injuries. Steamer riders sit in tubes and then circle a giant funnel before washing into an exit slide. Sounds fun if your inner tube doesn't flip over before you get to the exit. The park was accused of failing to report injuries on the steamer to the regulatory body in charge of keeping Ottawa's amusement parks in line. Ultimately, the park was hit with 20 safety violation charges. Calypso accepted responsibility graciously, of course, and no, they didn't. In fact, they even tried to blame a safety inspector for one of their ride's problems. Don't worry, though, because the steamer didn't close. If you enjoy a good spinal injury, there's plenty of room for you in line. Number 9. Aqua Sphere. Aqua Sphere's been linked to an unusually high number of accidents. On one occasion, 2 adults hit their heads inside the slide's tunnel and suffered head injuries. Park officials shut the slide down for 10 months, but just days after the reopening, there was another accident. This time, a woman experienced severe back pain after riding the Aqua Sphere. And on another occasion, a boy fell off the tube inside the ride and was battered around the inside of the ride before he was ejected. Here's the worst part. When the park facility opened in September 2014, the Aqua Sphere didn't open along with it. That's because the employees who tested the slide suffered minor injuries. Evidently, Park thought they had fixed the slide's safety issues, but oops, guess not. The good news is the Aqua Slide has since been dismantled and rebuilt. Number 8. The Vertigo Water Slide. The Vertigo is a 108-foot-tall water slide at Aqualandia in Benidorm, Spain. Riders get dropped through a trapdoor, down a steep slide, and into the water, which sounds like quite a rush as long as you make it through the trapdoor. Wait, what? According to Australian Broadcasting Corporation, British tourist Jamie Norman, "As I fell, I felt it scrape all down my legs and arms and then smack into my face. When I got to the bottom, the pool was full of blood," he said. Okay, so that's horrific. But then Norman was treated by an on-site doctor and rushed out of the park with some free zoo tickets for his trouble. Before we continue to the next most insane water slides, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any of our weekly videos. Number 7. Cannonball Falls. Action Park, if you haven't heard of it, was one of the most notorious water parks in the world. It was so notorious, it was affectionately known as Traction Park, or sometimes Class Action Park. Anyway, one of the more notorious action park rides is one that closed down relatively recently. It was called Cannonball Falls, and it featured a 10-foot drop into a mountain pool. It was the most dangerous water slide in the state of New Jersey, with 6 injuries during the 2015 season alone. Still, that's tame compared to the overall number of action park injuries that season, 27, which is tame compared to the number of injuries in 2012, 70. According to NJ.com, Cannonball Falls was permanently closed a few weeks before the end of the 2015 season. So that's something anyway, sort of. Number 6. Aqua Scoot Action Park. According to AMC, riders went down the Aqua Scoot on a plastic sled, and the idea was that you'd pick up a lot of speed and then skip across the water at the bottom like a flat stone. The problem was, if you weren't sitting on the sled at exactly the right angle, you could get flung off it, and yeah, The pool was shallow, less than 2 feet deep. By some reports, so head meet concrete and lungs meet water. Some unlucky riders fell off the sled on the way down, which would result in horrific pinching injuries, followed of course by a head injury once you got to the pool. And Action Park employees didn't bother to wait until one rider exited the pool before sending the next rider down, so collisions were also common on this ride. Sounds like fun, right? Number 5. The Black Hole Waterslide. The Wet n Wild water park in Orlando is no more, and that means its most notorious water slide has gone the way of things that go into black holes. Many of the park's troubles revolved around a ride called the Black Hole, which the Orlando Business Journal described as a twisting ride where guests shoot down a dark tube on a 2-person float. The Black Hole injured one man in 1994 so badly that he sought and won a $1.73 million judgment against the amusement park in 2000. The man said he was struck by something in the dark, and when he arrived at the bottom of the slide, he couldn't move his legs. Doctors had to insert a titanium plate into his neck. That was probably the Black Hole's worst injury, but there were others. 2 tubes sometimes flipped. People fell off. Tubes were hit by other tubes, and all this happened mostly in the dark, which must have made it extra super sucky. So goodbye Wet n Wild and Black Hole. We won't really miss you that much. Number 4. Recked waterslide. It's awful when anyone gets injured or killed while out doing something that's supposed to be fun. But the absolutely horrific way that this child died makes it hard to even ponder, let alone put down in words. The Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City wanted bragging rights as the world's tallest water slide. So they built a 170-foot-tall monstrosity and named it Verrückt, which means crazy in German. Then a 10-year-old boy named Caleb Schwab got on the ride and was decapitated after his raft caught air and his head struck a pole. Caleb's family did get a $20 million settlement from the park and some of the companies involved in its design, but it's pretty damn hard to put a price on the loss of a child, particularly in such a horrific way. Number 3. Cannonball Loop. This was Cannonball Loop, which frankly looked like an interdimensional hamster habitat. It was long and black and ended with a loop at the end that looked so improbable you had to wonder if it ran on a pact with the devil, because it certainly didn't have anything to do with the laws of physics. According to Gizmodo, the Cannonball Loop was opened in the summer of 1985. It only lasted for around a month before it was shut down by the New Jersey Carnival Amusement Ride Safety Board, because all those other crazy action park rides were A-OK, but this one evidently crossed a line. Number 2. Cedar Point Ride. Cedar Point Water Park in Sandusky, Ohio, modestly refers to itself as the best amusement park in the world. In July 2013, guests were on board the river rafting simulation ride Shoot the Rapids when something went horribly wrong. The boat they were sitting in suddenly rolled backwards 187 feet down the lift track, hit the edge of a concrete flume, hit another boat, and then flipped over. Riders were belted in and trapped upside down in the water, and it was probably only the quick action of park employees and bystanders that kept the incident from turning tragic. The ride was officially shut down in 2016. Number 1. Insano Waterslide. These are the stomach-churning pictures of the world's tallest water slide. Towering over the landscape at a whopping 41 meters high, it is the equivalent of a 14-story building. Insano has been listed in the Guinness Book of World Records, and brave riders plummet down the slide at a nerve-shredding speed, reaching around 65 miles an hour. The plunge is so steep that although riders travel 41 meters, the whole ride just takes 4 or 5 seconds. Constructed in 1989, the thrill ride attracts daredevils from all over the world. For safety reasons, Insano only allows travel in a single position on your back with arms and legs crossed. Thanks for watching, everyone. What do you think about these insane water slides? Do you know any other insane water slides that can be mentioned in this list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time on the channel.